That's heaps sick, eh?
Oh, she's sounding good. Alright friends, so today we're going to have a go at dropping the rear differential oil and changing that out. So I see in the book it should be done, checked every 10,000 kilometres, changed every 20,000, but this is probably the last thing left in the car, which I haven't touched. Now I've personally put about 10,000 Ks on the car in the time I've owned it, and I suspect that it probably will be time for a change. I did have a few issues trying to find an appropriate kind of oil to use in the rear diff, so I use Redline MT90 in the manual gearbox. If I can find it under there. No, it's somewhere else, but great stuff. Very, very expensive, but it's also not limited for unlimited slip diff. So I've heard conflicting reports again that cars of this age with the limited slip diff probably won't need it. I've chosen this has the same ratings as MT90 anyway. It's specifically rated for hypoid gears with limited slip protection in them. If this doesn't work, I can always add limited slip additive. I've read online somewhere that you can actually tune the effectiveness of your limited slip diff by the amount of additive you add, but who knows? At this point, I think if the gear oil it's such a neglected thing in cars anyway, if it is that old, just changing to anything in there will be miles ahead of where it should be. So yeah, get the car up on stands and we'll go and have a look. They are, so you've got the fill bung up here and the drain bung here. It is a little bit of a pain in the ass to get to. Sorry, it's this one right here. But when I did the gearbox oil, I actually made a little pump out of a hand sanitizer pump, whatever, to actually get oil in there. So we'll jack the car up. I think that this cover plate here actually comes off, which will make it a little bit easier to access. So I'll get the car up on stands and we'll see what it looks like. Righto, we're underneath the car now. We've got a very easy drain plug there, but who the fuck designed that? Way up in there, mate. And it's a square-headed bolt. That's the fill port up in the top right of your screen there. So I'll go for a dig around and see what we can find, but I don't even think I've got purchase on a shifter if I haven't got anything that will fit it. Nah, mate. Alright, let's see what we can do. Alright, so I ended up pulling off the guard for a dirty chook underneath there, and to get better purchase on that little, hang on, try and get it, it's very awkward under here, try and get better purchase on that little square-headed bolt there, which is the fill port. I thought, okay, if we can't get to the fill port, there's no point in dropping the oil in this. I'm yet to find something that fits on there well. I think I'm probably going to need to get a shifter in there and just be really, really careful. The next worry, of course, is that when we go to drain this oil, nothing comes out. I've probably put 10,000 Ks on this car without actually checking the state of the rear end. As I said, this is probably the only thing left. So yeah, we'll see how we go. I'm off for tea first. I'll have a cup of tea and think about it. But you know, everything else looks like it's in great shape. See if we can show you the brake pads there. So no, pretty cool. Pretty cool little car, man. But you know, there's obviously a bit of oil spatter on that underneath that pan. It does look semi-recent, so I expect that there is something in here. Yeah, see how we go. Alright, so we've got the old poor man's breaker bar on it, and we're slowly getting it off. I was very nervous I'd strip that in there, but she's coming out. So I'll get back to video when we see what falls out of it. Alright folks, place your bets now. I reckon we're going to get maybe a half a litre of the most filthy shit fall out of here, and that's it. Or maybe nothing at all. Wait. Oh mate, there's oil in that. That's pretty wild. Doesn't feel very good. I'd say it's quite old. I've seen a few miles, that one. And maybe not the full 1.6 litres it was supposed to have in it. But good to know there's something in it, mate. Good to know. Look, honestly, that may not even be that old, you know. Doesn't feel great, though. As you'll all probably know, oil does degrade whether you drive it or not. I always change the oil no matter what the kilometres are on my bikes for that reason. No, mate, that's pretty good. Tell you what, I was thinking too, maybe I should drop it down level, but by the shape of this sump here, I'll guarantee you it's all coming out through this hole anyway. You get a little bit stuck up here, but nothing to be concerned about. Very good. All right. I'll button this bottom one back up and set up the pump and show you what I'm talking about. Alright, we just got a plain old like soap dispenser handle here. Push down into the hole, and we got a bit of 13mm tube there, which I'll put into the fill port. Hopefully this works. See you soon. Alright, so that's the fill port I just pulled out of it, and I see the last blokes had a go at putting some silicone around this, some wet silicone, and then screwing it in. And from the looks of it, they're actually a tapered fit. They look very slightly tapered to me, but I think that the silicone's probably a great idea. It's not going to do anything wrong or bad in the diff case, so I might just go right ahead and do that. First up, I'll reinstall the bottom one that's been draining for a while now. And yeah, get to pumping some more in. Alright, so we have our drain bung in there with just a touch of sealant around the edge of it, but it is a tapered fit. You can definitely feel that. Feels nice and tight in there. Fill port is open, so we'll pump that in there in a moment. But just take a moment, just humour me here for a moment, just to appreciate the rear end of Jags. This is why hot rodders just go nuts for these things. So you've got your lower control arm here, but the top arm, the stressed member, is actually the rear drive shaft. So there's a whole bunch of shims just inside of the brake rotor here that allow you to camber the wheels in should you need. These are really easy to, what do they call it, chop and shut. So you can, these are, just tubular pieces of steel. You can chop and shut them and adjust them to where you wish them to be. And that's why they love these rear ends so much. And I tell you what, you could handle a fuck ton more power than whatever this engine would put down. They're just built like tanks, and they just cradle. So the whole diff cradle up here just screws into whatever you wish it to screw in, basically. But yeah, no, I absolutely love this. Just such an elegant piece of design. It's simple yet so effective. So yeah, I would say it's a great chance to be oiling up all my grease nipple fittings here. I've got another couple underneath here, but I just did it. You can see all that grease coming out there, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just going to pump some oil in, make sure it doesn't leak, screw the rest of it together, and then I'm off to go and buy some British Standard Whitworth spanners, actually, for the SU carbs. So, yeah, cool. See you later.